Okay, sorry for the hiatuses. So this is my A320NEO. So um, I started designing this model back in 2017 or 2018, I believe, while I was on a train in Japan. So I'm not in Japan right now, but while I was on my way home from Legoland with my family, I thought about designing this. And on my original channel, which got deleted, I had this video called the A320NEO Fleet, and it was just me showcasing like a bunch of A320NEOs, and it was the first iteration of the design for this aircraft or for this model. So the most important addition, apart from actually shaping the wings and the color change at the back, this color change over here for the tail, are the engines. Of course, um, so when I designed the engines, it was like one. It was during a night in, I believe, 2021 or 2022. Um, the goal for designing the engines was I was supposed to simulate in origami that look when you're looking out the window of an A320 and you're, I think, in this region of the aircraft, and when you look out the window you see the engine and the sharklet at the end and the wing. So the goal was I was supposed to simulate that when you look down the aircraft, like over here. So when you look down, let me just focus the camera. It's supposed to look like that, just like the real thing. So the A320NEO is my favorite passenger aircraft, so I decided to make an origami version of it. And this is based off the revolver, one of the revolvers that Torself designed. I think I'll link it in the description below. So I think it was the 1860 revolver. So the base that he used for that model, which is a base that I use for this aircraft. I call I call that base the aircraft base because you can use that base to also design other aircraft such as the Boeing 787. You can also modify this design to make a 737. You just have to make a dent at the back. Um, and maybe with like maybe a bigger piece of paper, you guys can maybe design an A380 or a 747. For 747, I think you will have to dent this, or you have to make a zigzag fold around here to make the that bump at the front of the aircraft. So yeah, today I'm just gonna be making this one over here. And if you guys want to make the designing easy, you guys can skip the engine part, but I'll show that later. So the paper I used for this aircraft or to design this model, so here's the top view. So the paper I designed for this model is a 15 centimeter by 15 centimeter kami paper from Daiso. It's also 5.9 inch by 5.9 inch. So I recommend this size of paper for the look of this aircraft. Um, so the inspiration for the color change is Swiss Airlines. So in my old channel, um, where I originally made this thing, um, this tail, I made like a video that was supposed to, I guess, promote Swiss Airlines. I mean, they didn't sponsor me or they didn't pay me to make the video, but I just wanted to do that because I like the airline design. It's simple yet it encapsulates the Swiss, Switzerland essentially. So here's my A320NEO. Okay, so just to make the paper a bit more visible, I'm gonna use a red sheet of paper. And the reason why I like comic paper is because it's thick enough where it sort of holds its shape, but at the same time it's moldable. But the only problem with this type of paper is that there's I'm being a bit disingenuous when I said that it holds its shape, because over time, like maybe a year or so from now, if you don't use glue to keep your models together, that's made out of kami paper, like maybe a year from now, they're gonna be all spread out and then they look pretty ugly. So I suggest like maybe using foil paper to design these models. Just like how Jason Merrill designs his models using foil paper or tracing paper, laced between some foil and I think tissue paper. Not the ones used in the toilet, but something that's similar in texture. Okay, so I'm not gonna be talking much in this video. I'm just gonna be talking whenever there's like an important detail, like when we make the engines, right? Um, so or when I need to clarify some steps. So I'm just gonna keep going, and it's gonna be essentially like a Jason Merrill tutorial, wherein I only talk when it's important. So let's start. So we start by making an 8x8 grid. Okay, so before you actually make the grid, if you guys want the white side of the paper to be the body of the aircraft, fold the 8x8 grid going upwards. So you're folding against the colored part because this is going to be the tail, the color of the tail when we make the color change. Fold against the white part if you want the white part to be the body of the aircraft. So we're building this model just like how advanced origamists would fold it. So we fold the base and then we do collapse. Or we pre-crease the paper and then we do the collapse into the base. So it goes straight forward. So I suggest you guys watch a couple of Torself videos before actually watching this one. Okay, so before anything else, so there's we need to count two squares. So sort of count two squares from here, one, two, and then make a diagonal crease on the third square. And then crease the diagonals. If you guys want, maybe you could have creased it at the beginning, but we really only need to crease the corners as a guide for when we collapse the model. So only crease this diagonal, and this diagonal. Don't crease the third one or the fourth one. Okay, so this is a completed pre-creased model before the base. So let's do the collapse. So we're essentially pinching these corners together and then following along, folding it like a fan, just like this. So you can make 4 appendages. With the third appendage is gonna be squarish, and that's the nose. And this is the vertical stabilizer, and then these are the 2 wings. So this is the complete base. Which is the same base from Torself's 1860 revolver, called 1860 revolver video. So these are the 2 wings, this is the tail, and we're gonna do the color change first. You guys could leave it like this and keep the entire tail colored red or whatever color you picked, but we're going to do that white color change at the end, and it's not as simple as you think it would have been. So I'm gonna unfold that, fold this up against this diagonal here, with this diagonal edge, line it up perfectly so we have a white back, and then fold this over and then just hide it inside. Okay. And then fold it back. Okay, so next is fold the wings. So the thing is, you're gonna have to eyeball it. So go like this, where it's much closer to the nose, but this is actually too short. So we swivel fold a bit, just a bit. So we open this up a bit and then sort of swivel fold it to make the wing a bit longer. And we need that. We need the we need it to be a bit long so that the engines will fit. And once you're done doing that, maybe you can line it up with this crease over here, or you can just line it up with the body. I'm gonna line up with the body. And don't make the angle too steep when folding the wing. So this angle here, don't make it too steep, because it's gonna bend more. The wing is gonna bend more to account for folding the engine. So here I actually folded it a little bit too steep, so it looks like that. And I folded a bit long, so it looks a bit long and more towards the tail of the aircraft. So I'm gonna do just the right here. So swivel fold. So my camera keeps getting out of focus. Okay. So make sure to crease sharply so it's easier to that. And it actually looks a bit too short, so I'm gonna extend it a bit. So we'll unfold the thing and adjust accordingly. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is tuck the wing, get the wing in position. So this is supposed to be on the other side of the model. And we're gonna start that by, okay, so we're gonna start that by folding this edge up. And then opening the pocket. So right now you have three pockets, or three, no, actually 4 layers of pockets. One here, here, and here. We're gonna tuck it into the topmost pocket. So open up, and then once you push in that crease you made, just carefully ease the wing in, well, pushing on the paper. So this edge here gets folded in half, and it sort of gets folded a bit more. So pushing the paper into place. There. So as you can see, originally it's supposed to look like it's supposed to line up with this crease, but it became a little bit diagonal, and that was the goal. And then just unfold, and as you unfold, it's gonna start folding up to here. Try to fold it not as much, but it's alright if it ends up just folding there anyway. And then you can fold this part for symmetry. And then you can maybe fold this in a bit more, but I'll keep mine as is. And then just make sure the model is a bit symmetric. The top, that's when you know you're doing things okay. And at the top it looks the same, and the length of the wings are roughly the same. Okay. Alright. So this is where we actually do the other steps first. So first thing we gotta do is fold this up just a bit, not all the way, and then start making the foundation of the nose. You guys can actually just fold this down and then complete the model if you guys want to skip the engine step or making the engines, but I'm gonna show making the engines. Okay, and just like maybe grease it a bit. It's gonna be a hard fold depending on your paper. For the kami, I think it's just right, so like maybe prop the paper a bit. You could wet the paper. I actually suggest folding this paper a bit wet, so wet fold it, and that gives the best result. I didn't do it in the last model that I showed you guys. Okay, so we're gonna do a valley and a mountain fold. So first a valley fold and then a mountain fold, like this. So a zigzag fold, as Torself terms it. There's the nose. Okay, to make the white color change at the other side of the tail, just simply fold this over and like in a diagonal fashion. There's gonna be a bit of paper that hangs over the edge. You're just gonna have to tuck that in using your nail or your shaper, because I'm assuming some of you guys have a shaping tool. Just tuck it in there so it's flat against the edge. Okay, and then just fold this out to complete shaping the wing. I mean the vertical stabilizer. What you can use your nail to crease on it because it's a bit of a hard fold. Definitely helps if it's a bit wet. There's the color change. Okay. If you guys want, you can already shape the fuselage out and maybe the end, the APU. You can shape that. That's pretty good. Again, a hard fold, but yeah. We'll shape the fuselage later. Let's get on with making the engines. Okay, so once I fold this up, this one too. Okay, so there's the dihedral look on an aircraft. Here's how we shape the wings. Okay, so unfold a bit and then open this pocket. So maybe unfold that a bit also. Unfold the pocket, bring it down, and squash fold this open it up, and then squash it down. Squash it down as best as you can, because a part of that is going to be the cowling of the engine. And do the same for the other side. And then just fold it back up. Okay. So, if you guys have a shaping tool, it'd be nice. I think I'll use these tweezers. So, what you want to do is open it up and then gently pull this edge out. Gently. And make sure not to rip the paper. And just carefully bring it out. And then, as you're doing that, you're gonna end up shaping the inside. So, round it out. So, it's supposed to look like that. And it was supposed to originally be folded over like that, so you're gonna open it a bit and then shape the engine from there. So you have to tug a bit more on the thing, and as you're tugging it, you actually end up folding the back of the wing, so you'll end up making a crimp just over there. And as you're folding out the engine, you'll end up folding this edge up to this edge. So as you pull it, the paper wants you to make the crimp and then fold this over like this, just over the edge. And then just drape the top part of that cone a while ago just over the engine, just fold it like that, and then just shape. Making the engine is majority of making the engine is shaping it, so really just release your inner patience and then just shape it out. You're also gonna have to adjust an eyeball where exactly you make the crimp according to what the paper wants. So open up the area inside the engine as much as the paper needs. Tug on it some more. And don't worry about it looking a bit crumpled. You can make it as wide as you can. If you want, you can make it flush against the fuselage. I'm gonna make mine just right. Okay. And then just round out that part. Also round out this part. And then once you're done with that, once you're done with the engine, just fold the sharklet up just a little bit. It's good enough. And then the other side. Here you're gonna have to actually work against the paper because that crease is built in. And then tug on the paper gently. Okay. And as you're tugging on the paper, make the crimp. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. When you make the engine, it's not gonna look good at all. If you guys can find a way to make the engines look smoother, I'd appreciate it. Just comment it down below. And there you have it. Majority of the model is really just shaping the engines. And how the wing looks depends on how you angle it in the first part of the video. With a sufficiently big paper, maybe you guys can design fan blades inside the engine. But for now, I'm just gonna shape the model. So the fuselage might look a bit octagonal or octagonal. It's best if it looks roundish. And again, it's a hard fold to round out the fuselage. it's just tweaking the design. Get the engine more rounder. And there. Copy that look. The side. The aircraft. And it tends to tilt a bit, so just sort of get into place. So it has the dihedral symmetry. And there you have it. My Origami A320NEO. This one actually came out a bit much cleaner than the other model. The engines are a bit wonky though. So yeah, that's it. Sorry again for the hiatuses. I've been busy with colleges all, and so yeah. If you're a beginner, I guarantee you that this is gonna take you a couple tries before you get a really nice look. In fact, it got me a couple, like a dozen, like hundreds of revisions, to get the engines right. And some of them were too close, some of them were too short, some of them were very crumpled. But in the end, it gave me a nice model. Yes. So yeah. See you guys in the next one.